All right, so goal setting, right?
Mm.
Everybody wants to, get better at it. It's not just that New Year's resolution energy, though. This is about, like, leveling up your whole life.
And it's interesting, we found this video from Level UP Professional Network, and it really hits on that bigger picture idea. They're not just talking about work stuff, it's about well-being across the board.
Totally. It's like, remember when work-life balance was, like,
Yeah.
the thing? Well, they're taking it a step further. 7 key areas, they lay it out. Mental, physical, family, social, spiritual,
Career.
career. Of course, can't forget that one. And then financial, too. It's like this whole life roadmap.
It's actually really in line with what we're seeing in research, too. There was this study, I think it was University of Wisconsin. They found that well-being, like really feeling good, it's tied to setting goals in multiple areas of your life, not just one.
So not just set goals, but like diversify those goals, huh? I mean, that sounds kind of daunting when you put it that way, but also kind of exciting, right?
Exactly. And they get that feeling overwhelmed. They address it right off the bat. They have this metaphor. It's like if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there.
Oh, man. That one hits a little too close to home some days.
Yeah.
How many times have we all just felt lost, adrift?
Experts, they don't really sugarcoat it, do they, about what happens when you don't have those goals?
Nope, they're pretty straight up about it. Like,
Yeah.
they made this point really compellingly that if you don't have that direction, that sense of purpose, it can lead to a lot of anxiety, dissatisfaction too. Like, you're on a treadmill but going nowhere.
Okay. Yeah, that's the don't have goals side. But what about the flip side? There's got to be some good stuff that comes with having them.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So they talk about how people with goals, they often project this, like confidence, determination, too, that inner compass thing,
Mhm.
And they use this example. I think it was a young person who wanted to be an astronaut. And that goal, it helped them stay focused, avoid some of the, pitfalls that can trip people up. Talk about motivation, right? Like a single goal that powerful.
Right.
So it's not just about like feeling good, it's that it can change your choices. Ultimately, where you end up in life.
Yeah, exactly. And they transition so well from that point into like, okay, so you're motivated, but you got to take action. It's one thing to have these dreams, these goals in your head, but it's another to actually write them down.
Which is where their guide comes in. Listeners, get ready to take some notes because this is practical stuff. They break it down into these really doable steps. First up, keep it personal.
Yeah, that's huge. If it's not something you actually care about, if you're not invested, you're way more likely to quit when things get tough. And let's face it, things will get tough.
Oh, for sure. Got to be something that resonates. And speaking of resonating, they talk about framing your goals positively. So not, I want to stop being so stressed, but I want to find more peace, in my life.
It's subtle, but just that language shift, it's powerful. It puts you in a more proactive mindset, like you're focusing on what you want, not what you want to get away from.
Choosing to focus on the solution, not the problem.
Hmm.
I love that. Okay, here's where it gets real, though. They say, write it down.
Write it down. This is it, right here. This is where I think a lot of people fall short. They have these amazing ideas, but it's all up here. Never actually put pen to paper.
I think there's something about that act, of physically writing it that makes it more real.
100%. It's like a contract you're making, but with yourself. And this plays right into their next point, which is visualization. When you can see that goal written out, it's easier to picture yourself actually achieving it.
And speaking of visualization, they have this whole thing about a goal tracker, like a secret weapon almost
Yeah.
for staying on track.
I
Expert, why is this such a game changer?
It's like, how people use those fitness trackers or even just like tracking your water intake throughout the day. This is that, but for your big goals. Visualizing it, but making it a system.
Okay, so break it down for me. How does their goal tracker work? Give me the tactical view.
It's super user-friendly. They're all about breaking those huge goals down, making them manageable, smaller steps. Like think of it as a roadmap. Yeah. So you're not just staring at this impossible mountain all the time.
That's huge. We talk about how no direction can be demotivating, but so can being overwhelmed, right? It's finding that balance.
Exactly. And that's what the tracker does. It helps you find that balance. Plus, it's visual, so you're reminded of what you're working towards. Oh, and they have this whole thing about celebrating those small wins, too.
Yes, love that. So easy to just rush on to the next thing that you don't stop and think about how far you've come already.
Right. Got to celebrate those victories, keep the motivation up. It reinforces that you're on the right track.
Like giving yourself permission to actually acknowledge your progress, which I think a lot of us, we need that. Okay, so we've got personal goals, positive framing, write it down, visualizing it, using a tracker, celebrating wins. Am I missing anything? Or is it time for the bonus round?
Almost. There's this section they have on clarity and commitment. I know it sounds kind of basic, but they give this really interesting example.
Okay, hit me with it.
So it's about being specific with those goals. Don't just be like, I want to be healthier. Be like, oh, I'm going to cook 3 healthy meals at home this week. That kind of detail makes a difference.
Give your brain the instruction manual, not just a suggestion. You'll like it. All right, bonus material time. What did they throw at us?
This is good stuff. They get into visualization, but like on another level. And then role modeling.
Okay, we already talked about visualization, so what's different here?
So they give you this exercise, right? And you're using all your senses. You're not just seeing yourself at the finish line. You're feeling it, you're hearing it, even smelling it, tasting it, like really bringing it to life.
Full sensory experience in your mind. Okay, that's cool. No wonder they call it a bonus. All right, what about role modeling?
So many good questions in this part. They want you to think about someone you admire, right? And then ask yourself, what are they doing every day that's helping them reach their goals?
Oh, I like that. Reverse engineering success. Not just, wow, they're amazing, but like, what makes them tick? What else?
They also say, think about how are they balancing all the different parts of their lives? Because let's be real, that's the harder part than just achieving one specific goal, finding that balance.
Looking at the whole picture, just like with those 7 areas we were talking about before.
Right. And this ties into their point about like, don't idolize your role models. Everyone has flaws. Everyone has weaknesses. Everyone has challenges.
Take inspiration for sure. But your path, it's going to be your own.
Exactly. And then they have the suggestion, I love this, they want you to actually role play. Like, imagine a tough situation related to your goal and how you would handle it.
Role-playing, huh? Okay, that's different. I don't think I've ever heard anyone say, like, all right, before you set that goal, get ready to act it out.
Right. But they have this great line. They're like, practice makes progress. So true. The more you can think about those obstacles, those challenges, and rehearse in your mind how you'd handle them, I mean, it's got to build confidence, right? Resilience, too.
Mental toolkit for success? Okay, I can get behind that. But I got to be honest, even with all this amazing advice, it's a lot to take in. Like all 7 areas of life all at once, it can feel kind of overwhelming.
For sure. For sure. And they actually talk about that in the video. They're not saying you need perfect balance like today. Life happens, right? Things change, your priorities change. It's more about just being aware, being mindful of those different areas, and making sure you're giving some time, some energy to each of them.
So intention over perfection and finding what works for you.
Yes, exactly. It's like they say, small steps consistently. That's how the big changes happen.
Love that. All right, listeners. So as we wrap up this deep dive, here's my challenge for you. Think back to those 7 areas we talked about. Mental, physical, family, social, spiritual, career, financial. What is one tiny thing, just one small step you can take today in any one of those areas, just to start moving towards that more balanced, fulfilling life?
It could be so simple. Sending a quick text to a friend, taking like 5 minutes to just breathe, maybe even looking up a financial planning tool, whatever resonates, just take action.
That's it. Action. Even a little bit, that's where the magic is.
Yeah.
And hey, we're here to cheer you on every step of the way. Until next time, keep diving deep. And remember, you got this.